El Paso. Hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here this evening. We have not done a night podcast on our own with the Jackie Stevens Real Estate Group. So, we are trying to kick it down tonight and see what we got in store. And this is going to be with my most favorite person that I've only known a couple of months. And we're super excited to bring you this information. You're always asking for information on what you're doing in your business. How are you getting in front of social networking so much? And this is the reason I want to introduce you to the one and only Mr. Nick Krim from
the real King of Cleveland.
The real King of Cleveland. Wow. You know what? That's quite an honor you guys are bestowing on me. I think there's some people here who might try and fight me for it, but you know what? I'm going to take it tonight. And El Paso, I'll be known as the King of Cleveland. I like it. Let's go. What's up, guys? No, thank you for having me on.
I love it. Well, we know that you have all these amazing, awesome roles under your belt. And I could go on and on and on. I even learned a little bit more about you today when I was like, oh my gosh, who is really Nick Krim? So tell us who you really are. You are literally blowing up in social media and, with real estate agents, top real estate agents all over the world now. Tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, wow. I feel like that could be a loaded question. I think it comes back to, I always want to thank my days as an ISA. So that's how I got started in this entire industry. And they say it takes a certain amount of time to become master at your skill, to become a master at your territory, right? So for me, I think I was blessed because I had to make the money that I was making when I was an ISA, to get by, to do things. So I had to dial 15 hours a day to get started, right? I would start at 8 a.m. on the East Coast and end at 8 p.m. on the West Coast. So that way I could still dial between the times, and I would dial all day, every day. So it was kind of indoctrination by fire, just making so many dials, meeting so many people, having so many conversations, talking to agents from all over. So I got to learn about the industry very quickly before I started getting into the social media aspect and really start growing through video and other projects. So for me, I really think it all started for me back then was when I was dialing more times. I would put my hours up against anybody in the industry, 15-hour days for months and months and months on end, just straight on the phone. I'll put my times on those against anybody for any time.
We need that part of your business still open for our group. If people could dial like that now, we would be just floating in heaven right now.
Right.
Now, do you see that side of the business kind of going away, Nick, as far as the cost of dial being, like you said, a straight ISA? What's your take on that?
That's a great question. And I actually have a show talking about that. So we call it content and calling. So for me, I don't see it going away. I see it being partnered with new legs of your business in different aspects, right? I think if you're just calling, you're missing out on so much. But at the same time, if you're just making content, you're missing out on so much. It's really the combination of everything right now, right? Let's say if you're gonna attack somebody and you're just gonna attack with the Army and they have a Navy, they have an Air Force, they have a Marines, there's a good chance you're not gonna be able to win that battle, right? It's the same thing. If you're a real estate agent, you're just calling. There's somebody that's running ads, they're shooting videos, they're going on social media, they're door knocking. There's a good chance you're not gonna get as much business. It's the land, sea, and air approach. I say there are many great ways that you can do business, but to me, it has to be a mix of everything. We have this saying, once you own the mind share, you own the market share, right? When somebody thinks about you, when they think real estate, that's what winning looks like. In order to do that, you can't just post videos. You can't just make calls. You got to do all of the above. And I'll tell you what, this is why I got into the sector I did with branding, was because when I was making calls, I noticed with some of our clients, after I was making calls, I graduated, I guess you could say, into the management role. I started managing all of our clients. We had clients spread out all across the nation. We had clients in Canada and all parts of the world, really. And the biggest thing that I realized is some clients we would crush it for, some we wouldn't. It wasn't the leads. That's the first place everybody looks. It's the leads. Everybody wants to get new leads.
Everybody wants them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Some clients had the hottest, warmest leads you could ask for, and we still weren't able to convert on them as high as somebody else that we were circle dialing for, which is, as you guys know, circle dialing is just taking neighborhood data and calling. Here's the thing. When I call and it's like ring, ring, hello, I'm calling on behalf of Nick Krem. They're like, who the heck is Nick Krem? Yeah. Or you call him like, hey, I'm calling on behalf of Nick Krem. It's like, oh yeah, I know Nick. You see his signs, you see his different things. That's a huge, huge difference. Yeah. That's why I said calling's not dead, but the branding and calling, that's where it has to be a mix of everything.
Exactly. So I know that you have, you have so many titles under your belt, which is super amazing. One of them that you do have that really caught my eye with you was when I joined DXP and you're able to jump inside of all the chats and get to know everybody. You stood out to me because of the media, the social media, virtual media. And I wanted to just know more about that because even in my business, I didn't know how important it is as of even today, from a couple of months ago to right now. It's so important. So can you tell us a little bit how you got into that virtual media advisor?
Right. So no, that's a great question. And for me, it's I was always interested. I was already kind of working with a lot of these top agents, and I think one thing that our mentors were always great at really teaching us. They're amazing people too. I think you've had a couple of people on here, Jay Kinder, Al Stasic, some of these guys that we're working with now that it's called peers. But it's amazing because they always said it's about solving people's problems. It's not about creating the shiniest object, right? And I think that's what a lot of times people try and do is like, what's the shiny object they're going to run with? It's like, no, if you can solve the industry's problem, then you can that's when you can really start building a business and going from there. So for us, the biggest, one of the biggest bottlenecks that we saw was the whole branding, was the virtual media, and was that whole process. I actually stumbled into it almost by accident because when I started getting on social media more, I knew it was important. I knew it was a great process. But what I started to do was I would do those picture quotes, right? Like a picture quote, and I would write my description, and I was right getting into copywriting. I was doing all these things, and I'm like, this is awesome. I'm starting to love it. I'm getting traction. I'm starting to figure out different ways to really grow my brand quickly, and effectively. And one of the days, I don't know what it was, one of the days when I really stumbled onto video, it was just this quote. I'm trying to write this out, and I'm like, I can't put this into words, and I can't get my emotions enough into this. I'm like, I got to do this in a video. Yeah. So then all of a sudden I shot one in a video. And some people liked it, some people kind of started to jive with them. Like, you know what? I'm gonna shoot my other one with the video tomorrow because it's a lot easier than just writing. I'm like, I could really get my emotions behind this. Yeah. So I started doing videos every single day. So I had this segment, Win the Day. Still got my bracelets. Every single day, and I really started to pick it up with video. I learned a lot of tough lessons and great lessons through that process. Yeah. And I always tell people how I know what we do works and how I know that it's going to work for you is because we break a system. We figure out what are the breaking points, and then we roll it out, and then we roll it out to everybody else. Right. Yeah. Like I think one of my favorite stories is I literally broke iMessage on my phone doing one of our processes, had to get a new phone. Apple wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. Nobody was happy, but I broke iMessage because we were doing so much with it and we had to get a new phone. But, so I think virtual media, like I said, it was just something that we saw as a big need in the industry, and we solved it, and we were able to roll it out to everybody else.
I love it. And so how important is social media right now? Like, there's no more really newspaper. There's really no more those magazines that you put yourself in, Agent of the Month and check out all past homes.
Right.
We're like way far away from that. How important is social media?
Yeah, for me
now.
Yeah, for me, it comes down to this. You look up a lot of stats. I believe it's about 80% of people when they're looking up a person now. If you're looking up a business, if you're looking up for a place of business, you're still going to go on Google. But as agents, we have to understand, if I'm Nick Krem as an agent, when people look me up, I'm Nick Krem. They don't look up Nick Krem Real Estate, right? They're going to look me up. And where do they go for that? They go to Facebook. They don't go to Google anymore, and they don't Google you a lot of times. A lot of times when they're looking up individuals and they're looking up people, they're going to go to Facebook. They're going to go to Instagram. So my question for you is, what are they going to find when they go there, right? What is the resume they're going to find on your social media page when they go there? So that's what it essentially is. Why is social media important? It's your resume. It's one of the oldest sayings in the book, perception is reality. The way somebody sees you on your page, you might be the best agent in the world. But if you don't have the content to support that, then in my eyes, you're not. And then somebody else who is posting their videos, who is posting their videos, who is posting their content, who is providing valuable information, that's the person I'm going to go with, right? So for me, it's your social resume. It's what people look up. It's what they see all the time.
Exactly. That is like dead on point there. Because I used to be the agent that, well, now I'm getting out of our comfort zone, right? Put the meme and then the little description and then post and that's it.
Right.
But when we started with you, Nick, and it was a little sketchy in the front because we were new. We were new to we were new to meeting people. And I'll be honest, I'm the risk taker, so I'm the one that just like jumps in or like, what are we doing now? Don't worry about it. Just follow along.
Right, just go.
Do it. And it's actually been super amazing to see that all the agents, including myself, have stepped away from, some of the posts that we put, but have started video. Yeah. And that's the whole thing about this podcast is video. So,
and I'll go ahead and take it a little step further.
Okay.
I think video, and it's just, again, we always talk about it during our one-on-ones and stuff, but it's being comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Because it's an everyday thing. I think we talked a little bit and you hear it where people just say, you know what, I just need to practice. I need to get this right. I said it myself, right? But I think I kind of had that one aha moment. You're like, dude, you can be there all day trying to get your hair right, man. You're right,
Yeah.
And I think it's so true. And it's just getting the information out there. And you'd be surprised how many people are just happy to hear that message.
Right.
And it can just be vital key information. Obviously we're in the real estate business, so they want to hear stuff about, how they can obtain a home, or is this the right time to sell a home? So it's really cool.
Yeah,
what you put together. One question I had that I wanted to kind of share, and hopefully our audience can adapt to it, was this whole virtual thing something that was thought out pre-COVID, or was it something that was kind of like, you know what, man, like it's COVID, what are we gonna do? Let's freak out. Let's try this out, and roll it out to others and try it.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I think for us, it came pre-COVID. We started, I actually stopped the call center we're just coming on 2 years when I stopped and I said, I'm going to start my own thing. I'm going to start my own business and we're going to build it from here. And that's when we knew that virtual was the way to go. That virtual was the way of the future with real estate, the way of the future with business, and just the way interaction is in general, right? So that's when we made our decision. And I'll tell you what, the one thing I will say about COVID, and what is happening here is the industry and businesses were already going in this direction, right? And a lot of times too, it's changing the habits, changing the way you do business. It's difficult, right? I think we were talking about this before too. Nobody like that big change. Nobody really likes change. So with COVID, everybody was forced to make that sharp right and say, we got to go virtual. We got to change our processes. We got to find a different way to do it, right? Yes. We didn't have an option. So for me, we were already headed in this direction. All this did was take it from a walk in the direction to a dead sprint into the virtual direction, right? We were headed there. Every company, if you notice, a lot of companies were pretty quick to adapt. And I want to say, like, companies that have done a great job at adapting. But to me, it's like they already had these plans to adapt and like, okay, this is the direction we're going. We got to ease people into it. We can't just take our workers to it. But now they're like, all right, let's do it. Let's go. Now's the time to do it. So to me, it sped up the process, but I think it was what's the word I'm looking for? It was a good thing for the industry. It was a good thing for business to be able to say, you know what, maybe our workers are working better from home or working better virtually. Maybe maybe it is easier for sometimes to shoot them a video text, to take them on a virtual tour, than for somebody to travel 3 hours, maybe because they're moving to a new place, right? Then do tours all day. Maybe it is easier for them to do a virtual tour, to do a Zoom. So for me, it was a step in the right direction, because going virtual and doing these, I've been doing my meetings virtually for the past 2.5 years, you know? So for me with COVID, I'm like, everyone's like, oh, there's so much change. I'm not used to all this working from home. I'm like, my day really hasn't changed too much. You know, I always worked my house.
Even more.
Yeah, I'm like, I always did this. You know, I'm always used to this. So for me, it wasn't too different. And I think it was a big change for a lot of companies. And like you said, but to answer your question, yeah, we were doing this well before COVID, and now it's just kind of everybody's like, all right, we got to go virtual. We got to do this. So I think it was a great for the industry. I think we made some big strides.
I love it. I love it so much. That is just like ridiculously awesome. And seeing Edgar out of his comfort zone, and even Michelle, I mean, she's doing amazing, and it's just
she's crushing it.
She's like booking these big old coaches and doing it. And that's the good thing about all of this, you know, is that video plays a key important role not only in real estate but in all business aspects.
Right.
So give us just a little bit more like on content. I know you are co-owner or co-founder of the Contents Card. Yeah. What's that a little bit?
Yeah, so this was something, like I said, we were working with some of these top agents, and one of the biggest problems that they had, that I know I have now too. At the time, I wasn't as much as like, oh yeah, I had enough time, like I would go and do things. Now it's I need to have things in the right. I need to have everything organized a lot better. So what would happen was they would ask these gentlemen like, hey, can you send me this video? Can you send me this link? Can you send me this website? And it's like, yeah, I can send it to you. And then you go start checking your email. You dig through your email. You start digging through all these places like, where the heck can I find this information? And it wouldn't just happen once. It would happen over and over and over again. Because if you think about it, how many links do realtors have to know? How many links do realtors have? Where, like, if I ask people right now, send me the link to your reviews, how quickly could you send that to me? Like,
we're not good at it.
And then what happens when you're looking for it and you get another phone call? Then what happens? Do you remember to do it after that phone call, right? And then you have somebody else asking like, hey, I need to start searching for homes. Great, I'm going to start looking that up. And then you get another phone call. And now all of a sudden you're 2 things behind. And it's like, which one do you remember? Which one are you going to do? So what we decided to do was take all the links that people have on all these different websites, all these different places, and house them in one specific place. And that's what we did with Content Cards. And one of the cool things too is because we know the value of video. Video helps SEO. Video helps build that person-to-person relationship virtually, right? So we don't just house your links for you on there. You can house your videos, all your social media. So now anything you want to ask me, if you want to ask how to get my calendar, go to nickkrim.com. Oh, you want to ask me about my new product? Oh, go to nickkrim.com. Oh, you want to follow me here? Go to nickkrim. So you get the point. I don't got to keep going. Anything you need to ask me, it's not only easy for me because I get to send it to you. It's easy for the end consumer. You know, the biggest thing nowadays, it's all about user experience, right? How easy is it to work with you and how easy is it to work with your product or your business? Why does everybody love Uber? Because all you do is open an app, type in an address, and click go. That's all you got to do. How easy is that, right? So it's about,
and I can't wait to get my card and his, because we'll show you guys how easy it is. It's literally your whole business in one card, as far as like calendar, like Nick was saying, and booking an appointment with you, your links, your videos, your testimonials. It's super amazing. So I saw that you had everything lined up so nice and detailed. So when you get a new agent, Nick, how do you like evaluate them or push them to their limits, like how you pushed Edgar?
I think a lot of times too, this was something that I had to learn after years of not doing this the right way. And I learned this again. I will say this: when you surround yourself with the right people, the right mentors, the right growth-minded, you can learn things a lot quicker, right? One of this great learning experiences was the gates open from the inside, right? So when I say that, I can tell you to do things one way and I can show you as much as you want, but until that person's ready to learn, and when that person is ready to accept it and make those changes, it doesn't matter. I can sit there knocking on the gates all I want. Until that person decides to open them, nothing will change. So to me, it all starts internally. It all starts with mindset. It all starts with getting your head and your mind ready, right? You guys were able to reach out to me and say like, hey, we're ready to take this next step, right? Like if you guys did not want to do video, I can call you every single day and it would not matter, right? So until people are ready to make that next step with their business, with themselves, I don't think like nobody can make that step. I had many years where people were trying to tell me like, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I did not listen. It was until I was ready to make this step that I started doing my experience, that I started reading a bunch of books, that I started doing my online training and really getting to this next step.
Yes. And let me ask you this, because there's a lot of people.
Question.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on our Facebook that, you know, they think a lot of our podcasts are just real estate related, but they own different businesses. They're small businesses, large business entrepreneurs.
I got a great one for her.
What do you think? Huh?
I got a great thing for Serenity here. So yeah, we do work with a lot of mortgage brokers. You know, I go into different offices. I speak at different places. So this concept, it works across any industry. All right. So let me ask you guys this. I hope you guys get this with me here. So what is the one thing, if you don't plan on keeping a puppy, what's the one thing you don't do?
Sleep with it.
You don't feed it.
You don't feed it. That's a good thing. You don't name it. All right. So what I was looking for here is you don't name it, right? When you get a pet, when you name it, it becomes real. It becomes like you're a pet, right? When you just get a dog, like you can pet it. But once you name it, it becomes real. It becomes like your pet, right? That's what they always say. Like, if you don't plan on keeping a pet, you don't name it. All right. So I am running with something here. So stay with me, Serenity. Take it. Oh, yeah, there you go. So here's what you do. A lot of times, especially in mortgages, right? Like we deal with a lot of people over the phone. In real estate too, you deal with a lot of people over the phone, right? So all they know is they're kind of like, when you're talking to somebody over the phone, you have this whole picture of them in your head, like you're picturing what they're doing, what do they look like based on the conversation you're having, right? We do it to everybody. Even if I'm talking to Jackie over the phone, if I'm talking to her, I'm picturing what is she doing, what's going on, like. Even though I know what she looks like, you're going to do that. It's even more difficult when you don't know what the person looks like and they're calling you for the first time. When you get a mortgage, like a loan officer calling you. So here's what you do the second you hang up the phone. You take out your phone and you send them a 20-second video message. Just say, hey, Jackie, it was great talking to you. I'm looking forward to talking more about your home buying goals and looking forward to you in the future. If you have any questions, go ahead and reach out to me. Send, right? So what happens right there? One, I just put a name to the face, right? Or a face to the name. There we go. A face to the name, right? So now I just made myself a human. I made myself an actual person. You know, so at the end of the day, we call it Name the Puppy because here's the thing. When I'm just some random person that calls you, I can almost put it in my head like, maybe this isn't a good guy, you know, like maybe this isn't the person I'm thinking about. I can almost make him like evil. It's like there's 5 different loan officers calling me. It's like I'm just going to pick one and be done with it. But when one person sends me a video message, now it just made it real. It's a person. It's somebody on the other side of the phone. They're smiling, like kind of like you feel like you get to know them. So that's why we do this with real estate agents a lot. And I was talking to a Sekou. They get a 20% higher conversion rate on their appointments. Why? Because now when they cancel on somebody, they're not canceling on some random person over the phone. They're canceling on Jackie, who is just smiling and sending them a message. You humanize yourself. When you humanize yourself, you set yourself apart from everybody else. So the video messages, every time I get done talking to somebody brand new on the phone, I hang up and I send them a video message, right? Yes. It's all about that humanizing aspect. It's all about differentiating yourself right off the bat. So, yeah.
And I do want to express that has worked exactly the way you are mentioning it. It's the response is amazing. Rather than text, rather than an email, rather than a phone call, your face. So that I've learned so much from the video that it's just that personal touch.
And even when you say the person's name in it, right? It's like, hey, Jackie, you make them feel special, right? You make them feel special. And it's because you took time out of your day to send them this message. When you do that, I'll tell you what, your response rates next time you want to call them, next time they're reaching out, it goes through the roof because you're an actual person to them now, right? I know it sounds crazy because you are talking to somebody over the phone and you know that, but you have this whole mental image. It doesn't become real until you see them, until you see that video. Then it becomes real and then you become a real human to them.
So you, I mean, that's like just, how can you overcome that with memes and those little, you know, things that I still do? Like, how do you get more people, more agents to do that? Like, get out of their comfort zone. You just hold them accountable, right? Like, we're your clients. So like, I mean, the accountability has really pushed us.
Yeah.
It feels super freaking uncomfortable. You know, like we're like, oh my God, like, I don't know why I get so fearful. Like the first 2-3 minutes. And then after I'm like, whew, it's over.
Right.
How do you feel?
No, and I think that, I mean, because it's easy, right, to get an assignment or be told what to do. But I think like,
I love to be told what to do.
What you were saying, really? Not really.
Yeah. I'm like, not by you.
Not by you.
Yeah, the late night show, guys. Yeah.
That's a joke, Edgar.
No, but, I'm saying, there's one thing to be told what to do and you follow a program, and this is a proven one. Again, I want to tell the audience that it really is. It's easy to follow. It's really, really a good deal, but it really is up to you, right? You can get all the tools that you want in the in the toolbox, and if you're not going to utilize any of those, it's just not going to work. Yeah. It's not going to work.
We're not laughing at you, Edgar. We're laughing with Serenity here. She's like,
yeah,
cut that shit out. Yeah.
He's like, really?
On here. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, but no, Edgar, you're right. You know, I was just listening to this other gentleman, Lofty Lars, great guy, psychologist. You know, he's a really deep thinker. And something that he said today really stuck out to me. He says he always go to his what's it called? He'll go to these masterminds where he's speaking. And he's like, "Who here thinks knowledge is power?" And everyone's like, Yeah. He's like, the whole hands go up. He's like, well, you're all wrong. He's like, the application of knowledge is power, right? The application of the actual, like taking action after it. It's like, how many people go to masterminds all the time? You know, this is something I see happen all the time. And I was a victim of this as well. Well, I was in this victim mentality of this as well, I should say. Of the fact I would go to a mastermind, I would come back, rah, my whole business is going to change. Month and a half later, back to doing the same stuff I would do right before that, right? Because you got the knowledge now. That didn't change. Knowledge is power, right? So I'm powerful now. It's the application of it time and time again, right? Yeah. So I think that's where us meeting every single week going through this process and the accountability factor comes into it, because now it's like, okay, let's do something that's going to make a change in our business. And the only way it's going to change is if we do it time and time again. Right. Even if I think all of us at this point, if you say you don't know that social media and video is important, I think you might just be lying to yourself just to make yourself sleep better at night. I think we all know that this is important. So we all have the knowledge it's important. So how are we going to apply that knowledge? That's the next step. And I think that's the most important step.
That's an important step. And also, like you were saying, you need that coach to push you, because I've had several coaches in the past.
Yeah.
Through other companies that I was with, with them, and I could not just follow through because I really wasn't held accountable for anything. So I got really not much from, those previous coaches. So, to my viewers out there, if you need that, and it's kind of funny that I say that, because even like a fitness coach, if they tell me what to do, I do it. If he tells me what to do, I'll do it. But I just feel like I need to be held accountable, and I feel like some agents or business owners don't have anybody to push them, and that's super important in your business, because you don't have that person telling you this is exactly what you need to do. This is the recipe. Just follow it, and you're going to see numbers. You're going to see an increase in relationships and agents and your business. And we've seen that. We've definitely seen that. So altogether, Nick, I give you just like so much kudos. That's just amazing work you've done. So do you just work with the XP agents?
Oh, no. I work with all agents. I work with a lot of different industries. I work with a lot of different people. And to me, it's just a law of abundance. There's enough buyers and sellers, there's enough agents, there's enough business, there's enough money to be made by everybody, right? That's what I truly believe. There's enough people that we can help out there. There's always more people to help. So to me, we work with everybody, and we work with anybody who's hungry and who's willing to learn and really take the next step of their business by video and social media.
So they can actually go to the bottom of our banner. If you go to nickcram.com, your stuff literally comes up. Who is it? Serenity? What is she saying?
Think when you are your own boss, you are the accountability. You know what you're going to make. Yeah. So you just get used to that and not changing it unless you clear the margin. But that's like staying consistent too. You don't want to stay consistent. You want to grow. Yeah, and I think this is where I think some of the, like the biggest people I know in real estate have coaches, right? And then those coaches have coaches. Like everybody that you know who's at the top of their field has at least one coach. And I'm saying at least one coach, right? I know many of these guys who have multiple business coaches. Why? Because they understand not even if it's just this person, like I have a lot to learn from this person, the accountability factor and just the different eyes on your business. You know, having a different perspective, somebody who's not in the day-to-day, who's not feeling the emotion of being involved in maybe the situation you're involved in, right? I always say one of the biggest things that you can do as a leader is taking emotion and taking names out of a box, right? It's not who's doing it and what the emotion is behind it or how you feel towards them. Take the names and emotion out of it. What is the brass tacks? Give me the black and white. What is happening right now, right? And take it things at just that level. That's what it's about. So like coaches are able to sit back and be like, okay, maybe you don't like this person, but let's look at the facts of this, right? Like, let's not take that emotional side to this too, right? Depending on what kind of coach you're dealing with, business, personal. I think that's very, very important is just to have that outside perspective. Somebody you can just say, just look at this as like, what would happen if it was X, Y, Z, right?
Yeah. So when did you know this was like your passion? This was it. Like, you're like, this is like, I love this shit. You know, like I love coaching these type of agents and seeing them grow. And when was your aha?
Let's just throw that out there, right? I mean, because I know you take on all kinds of clients, Nick.
Right.
And that's awesome. But when you see on your resume, you're taking on the number 1% of, top realtors across the nation.
Right.
That says something, which is congratulations, by the way, because that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
And for them to sit back and really follow your steps, follow your content, and I mean that's big, right? And to know that you're not just dealing with the average. I hate to say the average Joe, but I mean I'm just going to say you're dealing with some top people that have some ego. They have some.
Oh, he had one on ego. His video. You gotta leave that ego shit at the door.
You leave it at the door.
At the door. You're right.
Yeah, you leave it at the door, but it's cool that you have that ability to connect with those. That's what I'm referring to be able to connect exactly with those agents and know what they need and what's going to be good for their business.
Yeah, no, and that's a great point that you bring up, Edgar, too, that I want to touch on as well. You know, and that's another reason why I did decide to do my own company and kind of do it my own way. The amazing thing about, so like you're saying, like the 1%, because it is really cool to be able to work with so many people and like the top of their game all across the country, parts of Canada, Puerto Rico. You know, we're working with a lot of these top agents, and the biggest thing I realized is a lot of these top agents, or at least the ones I deal with, they don't have that ego. They have that, I want to learn more. I'm interested in learning a new way to do business. And I'll tell you what, I fired clients too. I didn't bring people on because the ego was there. If you have the ego and you're not willing to learn and you're going to fight me every step of the way, you know what? Maybe we're just not a good fit, right? And I'm not saying I'm always right and that's the way that things are going to be done. But at the same time, if I'm being brought on to teach you a certain way of doing business, to teach you about video and these processes, and it's just not working out, then to me, there's no room for ego in business, right? I don't think there's any room for ego in business. And I don't care how, I don't care how much money you're making. I bet that we're working with another agent who probably makes more than that. Or so like there's always somebody who's making more than you, right? There's always somebody who's at the top of their field who's above somebody else. So for me, the ego has no room for this. And I think that's just one of the cool things too. It's like work with a lot of top agents. You might think that they might act a certain way, but they don't. They're really humble. They're really great people, and they're just eager to learn. So I think that's really cool.
No, yeah, that's nice to know that they're just not about that. They just want to learn. They want to absorb.
They want to learn. Yeah.
So
but to answer your question, Jackie, when did I know video was my passion? Oh, that is a great question. I haven't actually been asked that before. So this is the first time right off the cuff answer here. So this will be fun. You're crushing it. You know, it's not often I get a new question. So you're really doing good here. Okay. So when did I know this was my passion? I don't even know, when was my aha? I think, so I do know the answer to this. So I always refer back to this mastermind because it changed everything for me. Key West 2 years ago. There's always this mastermind like Jay Kinder, Al Sasek, Margaret East. They always put together with all these top agents. Veronica Figueroa was there. Like there's a bunch of top agents in this room. And then there was me at the time. You know, I'm still the ISA. I'm just like kind of managing stuff. And I'm like, how the hell did I get in this room? I still don't know. So but we don't want to do that too. Like, we'll say that off the record. Alex, like, he kind of like sucked me in. He's like, hey, just sit here. We'll be here. I'm like, cool. But being in this room, I'll tell you what, like I said, like this is when I met a lot of the top 1%, right? I was able to sit in a room with like 30 of them, and they're from all over, bringing these great ideas, managing 60 agent teams, 100 agent, like selling 500 homes in a year, just single. I'm like, there's some big people in this room, right?
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like, all right, I'm making calls for some of you guys, but that's about the extent of it, right? So, but I think I realized, because I was still doing videos at that point, and actually, like, a lot of people actually in that room knew me because of my videos. I'm like, how the hell do you guys know me? Like, because I was just shooting some videos every now and then. So it was the Win Today videos. But, when I was able to come back and say, after I was there, your mind shit completely shifts, right? Your mind completely shifts because you're like, man, the world's a lot bigger than you think, right? There's a lot more out there than you really think. And I'm like, what am I going to do? What is my next step? And I'm like, I love shooting video. I got a lot of compliments. I talked to a lot of people about that. And I just decided when I came back, like, I'm just going to take the leap. We had an idea what we're going to do with content cards. We didn't know we were going to do this whole virtual media business at the time.
Wow.
It blossomed into this whole project after that and this whole great business. But I guess to me, it just came down to taking the leap and betting on yourself. I always say there's no better bet than you can make on yourself. And when you do that, you just put both legs in, you jump, and you just build the plane on the way down.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, that is super, super awesome. And I can super relate to that for the reason being when I went to EXPCon, I was invited by a couple and married couple, by the way. And I didn't know anything about EXP. And when me and Edgar got there, we literally were sitting in a room with Andrew Franklin, who I didn't even know who he was at that time, selling 1,000 units a year.
Yeah.
Fred Weaver from Arizona, who sells probably over 1,000 units too, and they're at least there speaking to us and giving us their full time. And I told Edgar, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, you just feel it. We need to jump in all in, and this is going to change our lives. And you got to sometimes do that. You got to just take the leap, and things will gradually fall in place. I'm meeting the most extraordinary people like yourself, Nick, and I really, really do mean that. And I've met other great people within EXP, and it's just amazing. It's just super amazing of the people and the table that you can people that you can sit with if you really wanted to.
Yeah,
I'm hoping
we always
next year I could sit with you guys. And finally meet in person.
And actually meet in person. I think that'll be great. So I'll tell a quick funny story too. So last year, I had a first in Vegas, and it's actually stayed in Vegas. Don't worry, it's PG. Like we could say it on the show.
It's after hours.
Yeah. Okay, it's after hours. All right, then we can talk about other stories that we won't go too far. But what happened was I don't know how this happened, but so up until last year, I have never eaten a salad in my life. Never eaten one. Never tried one. So I'm sitting there at EXPCon in Vegas. I'm sitting there with Stephen Kelly. I always sit with Stephen Kelly McCarthy. It just became a tradition. We sit there together. And they brought me out a salad this year. And I'm like, I don't know what it was. I just looked at them. They were doing the 75 hard. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm not doing the 75 hard. Like, we're in Vegas. So I'm like, I'm obviously not doing the 75 hard. We've been drinking. I'm like, you know what? Now is the time. Now is the time. My gate's open from the inside. I'm like, I'm going to try a salad. So, EXP makes you try a lot of crazy things. Maybe it's salad for you. But what I'll say is it all just comes down to who you grow with matters. I'll tell you what, being able to talk to the top teams across the nation where I could just pick up my phone. I'm actually right after this. I can hop on an accountability call with somebody that's going on right now. My man Sekou is doing one right now with agents all across the country. He can hop on there and he's teaching people how to sell more. He's teaching people to do more things at 9:00 at night. Things are going on.
on. Yeah, it just keeps going on and on. And what he means by calendar, guys, is that you can literally jump on anybody's calendar on that contact card and have an open schedule. And if you want to speak to Nick and ask him questions, or you want to do a one-on-one or with anybody within, you know, agents or his clientele, open the calendar. Open the calendar, choose a day and time, and there you go. And then,
right, like you said, these agents who are selling like thousands of homes a year on their teams, you can just hop in their calendar and pick their brand. Like, oh, you're with the group. What's up? What's going on? What can I do for you? Right, from all across the country. It's absolutely insane. I've never seen anything like it.
I've never seen anything like it, and you should see. I've only got to maybe have coffee with 2 agents where I'm locally from, and I've had more one-on-ones with agents out of the States. Yeah. Which I'm like, this is crazy. This is so freaking awesome.
Yeah, so, it's so cool. And I always like we said, you know, it's who you partner with. It's who you grow with. It really does matter. Who do you learn from? Are they at the top of their industry? Not locally, like across the nation. Are they at the top of their fields? You get to partner with people just like that. And it's an amazing thing.
Edgar, I'm sorry, I'm always talking over
you. Hey, you know what, man?
He's like this, I'm just like, hey, let me ask.
Right. You're gonna start nudging him off. All of a sudden, it's gonna be me and Jackie talking here. It's like, all right, where'd Edgar
go? No. I mean, the conversation's good. It's real, and that's what you get here with Nick. Every time you get to talk to him, and he breaks it down, he's gonna challenge you. He's gonna find different ways, and you do it this way. And I think the coolest thing that we've learned in hooking up with Nick is his ability to connect you with everyone else. And he's not looking for anything more than a simple, hey man, thanks. How did it go? The follow-up is amazing. And yeah, man, like I said, the accountability, it's on both sides. You know what I mean? You hold us accountable and we hold ourselves accountable, and really, really like that a lot.
Well, you guys are saying nice things about me, but let's not forget, this is the Jackie Stevens show, the Team Jackie Stevens and Edgar show. So you guys, I'll tell you what, you know, I always absolutely love working with people like you guys who are able to say, it's not about what's best for me. It's about what's best for my clients. It's about what's best for my business. It's about what's best for the industry, you know, and it's being able to put that aside and say, maybe it's uncomfortable, but if it's best for my client, I'm going to do it. If it's best for my team, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's leaders just like you is why the industry continues to flourish and continue to move forward. So I love working with people like you guys who are able to say, you know what, it's not always what's best about me. I'm going to put the people who matter above me. I'm going to put my clients above me. And I think that's amazing how you guys do that.
Oh, thank you so much, Nick. And like, I want to mention to everybody out there, if you are willing to take that step, if you are willing to get, I would say, hard on yourself and get yourself doing something new, this is something that you guys should jump into. It increases your relationship with your clients. It increases your business and your team if you're managing a team. And I will tell you, the world is changing on a consistent basis. So again, you know, it's always good to, you know, talk to these people to become innovative and see the different things that are changing. Sure. Don't stay stagnant. You got to stay consistent and start learning different things. So that would be my message to every real estate agent out there. This is the message that I tell my agents that work with us, and even myself, is we need to take that leap of faith, just like you said. So we're very thankful again for you, Nick, and for even taking this late evening.
Yeah.
But like you said, we're all here to learn.
We're all here to learn. We're all here to get better. No, thanks for having me on, guys. You know, it's been a great time. Yeah, and I look forward to seeing you guys here this week. You know, we'll be talking soon.
Yeah, we have our homework to do, but we're gonna get it done.
Yeah, I like it. I love it.
Okay, Nick, thanks so much. Do you have any final words for us, Dodgers?
No. Dodgers? You just threw that in there.
You're gonna agree.
You know, this one's for my man Edgar. Go Browns.
Oh my God.
There you go. Hey, you guys beat the Bengals, right? So you're good.
Yeah. So now Super Bowl Browns. Yeah. Easy. No, you know, we always like to say, like, oh yeah, growth comes when you're uncomfortable. Growth comes when you're uncomfortable, right? You know, I see everybody in business always post these memes, entrepreneurs, and every time I do, like, I tell people, all right, great, let's shoot videos. Like, oh no, that makes me uncomfortable. I'm like, But here's the thing, guys. It's gonna happen. I always like to say it like this. You look at people who started on YouTube right when it got started, they're millionaires now, right? It's not because they're the best at what they did. They got started early and they were consistent with it, right? We're at a time right now where, guys, if you start shooting videos right now, you're going to be ahead of the game. You're going to be ahead of the curve. You're going to be able to build your audience before anybody else, and video's not going anywhere. So if you want to look back in 5 years and say, man, I wish I would have listened to Nick back then and I would have started shooting video, you don't have to do that. Start shooting video today. Get ahead of the curve, get ahead of the game. You don't have to be the best at it. You just have to do it, right? Right now, you get brownie points just for doing it. You know, you might not have to be experts like Jackie and Edgar over here, but you just have to do it, right? you just have to do it, guys. You know, at the end of the day, if you're scared of people, what people might look like, if you're scared of like, man, they might see what I look like and you're in real estate, guess what? They're gonna have to see you eventually. Are you scared of what you're gonna sound like? They're gonna have to hear you eventually. Are you scared that your personality might come through? They're gonna have to meet you eventually. So why not get to meet you and get to know you and like you and trust you before actually getting to meet somebody, right? So I think it's just a great thing just to make sure that you stay in front of people. Secret agents don't win, right? When you're a secret agent, when nobody knows you're an agent, when somebody says, when your family member goes with somebody else and they said, I didn't know you were an agent, it's not their fault. It's your fault for not being more present.
Absolutely.
Be present, don't be a secret agent.
Gosh, that is so badass. Thanks. You hit it on the nail right there. No secret agents. Yeah. I think we have one comment before we leave.
One more comment. So we got.
I opened to Facebook just to get more personable with people. I was missing that relatability. So we really hit it dead on with Serenity, right? Serenity, keep on going.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect, girl.
Yeah. You just keep on doing you and get in front of the video, like Nick said.
I appreciate all the comments, Serenity. Thank you for jumping out and getting in there. And I think Nick answered a lot of the questions. And it's not just for real estate. Obviously, this is our business, and we're challenging ourselves to be better at. But this also relates to all our mortgage brokers, and really, it's just people that we partner with on an everyday basis. And
right,
Nick, I think on a perfect segue, we're very grateful for our partnership that we've developed here with you, and we continue to work that. And
let's do it. I can't wait to see what the next couple of months comes to.
Let's go, Jackie. Let's go. Thank you so much for having me on.
I'm ready.
No, so am I, guys.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah,
You have a good night, and we'll watch your podcast.